Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a big update today, so I figured I would make a video on it because there are some things in here that I'm very excited about. Some things that I don't really care too much about either, but I'll highlight the most important things that you should make a note of in case you don't want to read through it all yourself. So today we've got Fallout 76 Ghoul within release notes. This includes the new Ghoul character that will be playable after you have completed a quest. So that's Ghoulification. With that, you also get Ghoul exclusive perk cards. You got 28 regular ones and 2 legendary perk cards. We also have a new season, Glow of the Ghoul. And here they explain Ghoulification and how Feral is going to have an impact. So you do lose out on certain stats. 0%, you gain plus 150% melee damage. And that, I think, is very interesting. You also lose out on 5 endurance, 99 charisma, max HP, max AP, and hip fire gun accuracy and VATS accuracy. So if you have it, trading is not going to be too fun with the 99 charisma debuff, and the gunplay is probably not going to be great either. However, if you are interested in a melee build, this could be very interesting for you. Then there is the glow system, which also says that you're immune to diseases and cannot be mutated by nearby radiation. I don't know if this means that you cannot have mutations at all, because that would be quite a substantial debuff to being a ghoul then if you cannot have mutations. But by the wording, you just cannot have your mutations altered by radiation at least. Maybe the decontamination shower will still do something for you. Might want to be careful about that. Glow system increases your maximum health and heals damage you've taken based on the amount of radiation that you've accumulated. So basically, just grab as much radiation as you can, pretty much, and you'll heal up and whatever. So outside of the max health increase Glow provides, it also contributes to perks like the Science Monster and Jaguar Speed perks mentioned below. So here you have some perks, Bone Shatter, which gives a massive cripple chance for your melee weapon attacks. Eye of the Hunter, you get more increased accuracy and VATS. No, sorry, you get more increased accuracy inside of VATS from a very long distance. So that's going to make those long distance shots actually hit. Depending on the weapons and build that you're using, this could certainly be a part to take note of. Glowing Gut, irradiated food and drink grants 300% more rads. That is going to help you out with up here the glow. Moral support, when on a team, you become feral 50% slower, as to prevent hitting this right here. So if you want to become feral, basically you don't want to use this one. Science Monster, as was explained up here. While you have Glow, gain 15% bonus damage for 10 seconds upon getting hit. So when you get hit once, you will gain increased damage. Okay, interesting. Jaguar Speed, you now sprint 20% faster when your Glow is high. Wild West Hands, 36% chance to instantly reload your entire magazine when empty. And this is one very important part right here. A one-way ticket back to becoming a human. So first and foremost, you do need to go through this one quest. You will become a ghoul, and then you can go back to human if you don't like it. You will not be able to complete the quest line to become a ghoul again. If you want a character that has already completed the Leap of Faith quest line to become a ghoul again, this is then after reverting back, of course, to human, you can purchase a ghoul retransformation, which will be available on the character screen for 1,000 atoms. That's pretty expensive. Presumably, you're not going to have to swap around too much. Once you become a ghoul after the quest, if you're going to do that, make sure you actually give it like a proper shot. And if you really don't like it, take the one-way ticket back. And hopefully you won't have to purchase this for 1,000 atoms to become a ghoul again. Now, for some of you metagamers out there, if there is content that will be best for ghouls and other content that will be best for humans, you're probably going to want 2 different characters, since you most certainly don't want to spend 1,000 atoms every single time you want to swap. I was hoping this would be a cap value, let's say like 30,000 caps or something maybe, but unfortunately not. We're seeing 1,000 atoms. Well, let's move on anyway. So Season 20 Glow of the Ghoul. You can grab yourself new ghoulish rewards throughout your journey. So the season, you got a video here, of course, that you can watch. It starts at March 18th, which is today. It's going to be heavily ghoul focused. So we got double score, special pick, double mutations coming up. Cool photo mode contest. Oh, so there is actually a contest for some of you that want to participate starting on March 20th, running for 1 week. In April, we have some more stuff. Mothman Equinox event. Double experience on April 17th for the Power Levelers. Appalachian Outlaws Challenge event. The Big Bloom event, April 29th. This is the new actual in-game event that they are introducing to the game. Invaders from Beyond, May 20th. And that's pretty much the most interesting stuff in my opinion. But here we can see some of the ghoulish rewards from the new season. Goo Tub, that's pretty cool actually. And a new type of yellow Vaultic hazmat suit. Certainly not what we're used to seeing, so it's a different design. Sharpshooter power armor paint. Now let's move on. Again, Big Bloom starting April 29th. We also have a level 50 character boost, so I assume you just start on level 50 when you make a new character if you want to do that. Let's see what we're gonna take a note of. Plasma and Ultrasight cores now displayed. Here, fully charged fusion plasma and Ultrasight cores can now be placed in the ammo box. This has been, I think, heavily requested. It's something I've been looking forward to because having those in my invent is not really ideal. So we can finally store them within the ammo box if that's something that you have with Fallout First. Hazmat and Chinese stealth suit now count as wearing a full matching set of armor, which means that if you're running something like Funky Duds, which gives you poison resist, that will still be active when wearing a Hazmat and Chinese stealth suit. Last Turbo Fert grenade in a stack will function as expected, so this is probably referring to if you've ever used your Turbo Ferts and you haven't had any in your invent, you pick one up and you throw it out, it won't actually do anything. So you just wasted that one for no reason. I assume that's it, so that's a very good fix finally coming through. Combat reduced the health and damage output of super mutants. That's interesting, so they will die faster and they will deal less damage. Ooh, and here we have a lot of stuff. So, to summarize, all of these weapons, gun is basically the pistol version of them, they will have their base damage increased. But then it also says, the following weapons can be converted to rifles via mods, and thus will have their base damage further increased in the future. But at the very least, the base damage here is going to be increased. It's a good change for sure. I love seeing this. The weapon damage changes is great. We also have weapon AP cost changes here. For the pipe gun and 10mm, they make a note here that it will no longer have a reduced AP cost for automatic receivers. But apart from that, we have more pistols, combat shotgun right here, double barrel shotgun, cold shoulder, all other pistols. But it's also interesting here because Enclave plasma gun, laser gun. This, for example, 7 less AP cost. Imagine that on the flamer. Maybe it's just for the pistol though. I guess the rifle might have a different value, same for flamer. Curious if that's the same for the laser gun as well. Anyway, in here we see mostly for just regular pistols, energy pistols, and some shotguns. Your lovely Gauss shotgun is getting a boost there as well. I don't recall. We have a Gauss pistol up here. Doesn't look like it's in for the damage increase. We have more crit for what looks like only pistols. On average going from 2.0 to 2.75, so that's quite significant. Sneak damage multiplier changes. That seems to be it for the guns, so we've got some good changes coming in for sure. Pistols and even shotguns getting some love. Legendary mods fixed a bug causing legendary mod boxes to drop on death. Some have been complaining about that, so that's very good. They will no longer do that. If everything works as it should, you never know with a Bethesda update, but one can be hopeful. Fixed an issue which caused the Pounders mod to do more damage than intended. That's unfortunate in a way, but maybe it's also fair enough. It was really OP. But the fun is now over. I'm sure it's still good though. It will still increase the damage of your melee attacks, unless they have made further changes. I think I might have seen something about that further down. I just skimmed through this before. Basically, some more changes to additional legendary mods. Legendary mod boxes can now be scrapped for legendary modules. 3, 6, 12, 24 modules respectively, depending on the tier of legendary mod that you're scrapping. So you actually get modules for them now. You can scrap them. On top of that, you now have a chance to learn the plans by scrapping the mod boxes at the same rate as scrapping an item with the mod attached. So this is great. If you have any extra mod boxes, just like I do, you can now scrap them to have a chance of unlocking the plan, but also to get modules. Love to see it. We have a change to arms keepers. No longer applies to grenades. I honestly didn't even know that was a thing, but integrity changed, so fair enough. Cavaliers has been changed, it seems. Minus 5% damage while sprinting, same with the Sentinels. Wasn't it 15% before, but I don't think they worked as they should. So technically they're getting nerfed, I guess? Furious. Oh, here we go. This is going to be interesting. This is the thing I'm probably most excited about for this update. Not Furious itself, but the fact that it's considered Onslaught. It gives plus 5% damage per stack, and you get plus 9 to your max stacks. And also stacks with the new perks that have been changed, essentially. Let's assume we have 9 max stacks here. This will then be able to go up to 45% extra damage. That alone is really good for Furious, but especially the stacking with perk cards and such. I can see Furious being the best first star legendary effect on a lot of weapons, especially if they have like a fast attack speed or fire rate. The Onslaught description itself, each consecutive hit grants a stack of Onslaught. Stacks expire once per second, but this shouldn't really be a problem if you just keep shooting enemies, so you should be able to maintain your stacks at pretty much max for most of the time. Players have an initial limit of 0 and can increase this through perks and items. The effects granted per stack can also be modified by perks and items. Oh, and here we go actually, Pounders. Just like I said, I thought I saw it. Reworded for Onslaught and fixed an issue with the stack limit. Wait, so plus 10% damage per Onslaught stacks. Plus 10% max stack. Wait, this is just kind of OP, no? Imagine if you have Furious. You get plus 5% damage per stack. Here you get plus 10% damage per Onslaught stack. Does that mean we have 15% total per stack? Just these two alone would land us at 19 stacks. Let's say we have 20 stacks times 15. That would be 300%. Minus 15, 285% extra damage from Onslaught at max stacks. 285% damage. There is a difference between how different damage amplifiers works in this game, if it's multiplicative or additive, and I honestly, I have no clue how all that works, really. I have not gone in depth, but I think no matter what, it seems like this would be really, really OP. It says reworded per Onslaught, but Pounders is inherently a melee-only legendary mod. So does that still mean that we get the Onslaught stacks for melee, or is it for everything? Because if this is for all different weapons, this is basically going to be, just by pure assumption, it's probably going to be the most used 4th star you'll see. Alright, this will be interesting to take a look at when I go into the game. Alright, let's move on. Safecrackers, new effect, 1 lockpick and hacking skill. I thought this one was interesting too. Power armor now grants plus 10 strength regardless of your current strength. So regardless of our current strength, that means that no matter our strength, we get plus 10. And I think even if we have 15 strength, we would still get plus 10, right? Assuming that's the case, we would also get 50 carry weight for free within the power armor, which I think is needed. Perks. Adjusted some perk names for better alphabetical sorting. This is very interesting because let's say you have Commando, you have Expert Commando, you have Master Commando. They start with different letters, so they're kind of spread out in weird places. I wonder if this means they're going to do like Commando, Commando Expert, Commando Master. That would be really nice if they're like next to one another. Onslaught now has a HUD indicator, so you'll see it, I think it's bottom right, you'll see how many stacks you have. Perk balancing, so this is also super interesting. Arms Keeper, this currently reduces the the weight of all of your rifles. Ranks have been reduced from 3 to 2, which is a good thing. This means you need 1 less point to apply the card. Rank 1 is increased to 50%, rank 2 is increased to 75%. Here's the big thing. Now applies to all weapons except grenades. That means for 2 points, you will be able to get a 75% weight reduction to all of your weapons. This will help us save some points and weight. Barbarian, ranks reduced from 3 to 1. New effect, gain damage resistance based on your strength. Ooh, doubled when not wearing armor. So they're kind of doing the same thing like they have been doing within endurance. So this might be a pretty good card to gain some damage resistance from now. And it's only on 1 cost. Ooh, here's a big one. Demolition Expert, look at this. Ranks reduced from 5 to 3. And rank 3 here is going to give you 60% explosive damage. At rank 3, before you got that from rank 5, I am like 99% sure, at least. So this means we save 2 points. Wonderful. Love to see it. Can do. Find more packaged food based on luck. So we have luck-based stuff here again. Okay, yeah, so you can find packaged food if you have can do. It's only at 1 cost as well. Could be interesting. Concentrated fire. This is used within the Bloodied Vats build. So what did they do here? No longer grants limb targeting. Really? Okay. This is now acquired by having at least 5 perception. Wow. Okay, so you get limb targeting automatically when you have 5 perception. Is that a good change? I'm quite neutral. Fixed, the damage bonus not increasing per shot. So now you actually get increased damage per shot. They finally fixed it. The per shot effects are now limited to 20 stacks. I don't actually know what it's currently at, but either way, more damage, good. Pharma add an additional chance to occur, so it's the same as can do, basically, yeah. Gunfu. Fixed an issue where Gunfu was doing much more damage than intended. Increased the damage buff from 10, 30, 60 to 30, 60, 90%. Okay. Good with Salt. Oh, beautiful. So Good with Salt reduces spoilage, of course, by 90% now at rank 3. But with this update, rank 2 does the same thing, so it's a 1 cost less for the same benefits. Gorilla, this is gonna be... Each rank adds ranged damage to close enemies, so it actually incentivizes you to go close. Okay. I was instantly thinking auto axe there. That popped up in my head. Or shotguns. Guerrilla Expert. Rank 1 now only costs... Yeah, of course. Gain 1% reload speed per onslaught stack with ranged weapons plus 3 max stack. This means that with all of the max stacks that we have, it's reload for ranged weapons specifically, but we gain a lot more reload speed. Just from this, it's 3%. But what did we have on the other one? Like, I think we had 19, so we would be at 22 now. So this would be 22% reload speed in that case, if I'm not mistaken. And here we get 5% damage to close enemies per onslaught stack with ranged weapons. Okay, it doesn't work for melee, but it would work with something like shotguns and, I mean, any other ranged weapons too, of course. But 5% damage per close enemies per onslaught stack. This really incentivizes you to go close range, and you get plus 5 max stacks. So if we have all of this, in theory, we are at what, 27 max stacks, I believe. So 27 times 5%. Am I really doing this right? It sounds so overpowered, does it not? I mean, it might be fun, honestly. We just have to try it. Maybe this would be really, really cool to use with shotguns, actually. I've been waiting for something to switch up the meta, so it's going to be fun trying out these different things. There is also another specific perk card that I'm looking for. It's probably going to be towards the end, but we'll see here. Gunslinger. Each rank adds ranged damage to weak spot. 6, 9, 12 damage per rank. So it's a flat damage increase. Does this scale with Onslaught then, I wonder? Like, it doesn't scale with Onslaught itself, but I'm thinking if we get like, I don't know, 300% more damage, is it going to be applied onto this 12? Because weak spots, let's say super mutants, you have their heads as weak spots. You're obviously going to deal a lot more damage in that case if you're headshotting. Gunslinger Expert, we have the same as with the Gorilla Expert and Master here. It goes down to 1. Changed effect to plus 1% ranged weak spot damage. Okay, so here we have weak spot damage per onslaught stack, and we have 3 stacks. We would land at 30 if we have all, and this would make it 40. And what does that do? Gain onslaught stacks over time. Oh, this is the one. Yeah, okay, this is the one I was thinking about. So disregard that one for now. Just with this, we have 30 stacks in total, I think, if I didn't quite forget. So we get plus 30 ranged weak spot damage in that case. And our reload would also be plus 30%, I assume. And then we get a bunch of different damage. We get damage for close enemies. So I'm a big fan of this onslaught change because what it does is it allows you to use pretty much any weapon that you want. Now here's the interesting part. Slow firing weapons weren't really used before. Think like the black powder rifle. I mean, some people used it, but it was very niche, I feel. Something like sniper rifles as well. And I guess now with like the Tesla cannon, for example, this right here. Gain onslaught stacks over time, which is a pretty fast rate from what I saw on the PTS, and spend them on attacks. And I think you spend 1 per shot, and you get plus 10 max stacks. So you're going to have 40 max stacks, and per sniper shot, I think you take 1 stack. Don't quote me on that, though. It might be 2 or 3 or something, but considering how fast it stacks up, this is going to balance out something like snipers. Maybe it's still not going to be as good. Looking at this, it's probably not going to be as good because you only get 10, which is like from 30 to 40. It's probably not significant enough. However, I still think this is going to be really fun to use, and I hope this can buff snipers enough to be usable, because man, I love using the sniper rifle, I love using the lever action rifle, but because of how bad they've been, I haven't used them in forever. Really excited about this one. Home defense now correctly increases turret damage. Turrets are pretty bad generally, 100% extra. I would have liked this to go a bit higher. Maybe not though. I mean, people are abusing the turrets at Scorch Beast Queen, so this is already gonna be kind of OP maybe for that, but who cares, honestly? It's fine. Inspirational now increases XP gained per charisma, and it's only a 1 cost. Very cool to see. Very cool. I love, saving perk points wherever I can. It allows for variety in your builds. It allows you to pick different things for weight reduction and whatever it may be. Mr. Sandman removed the at night requirement. Okay, so if you don't know, Mr. Sandman increases, I think, your sneak damage by plus 100% at night, but now it's at all times. Pack and light, the same here. But this, because the one that we read about before applies to all weapons, this has to be changed. And as we can see, new effect here, your action points regenerate faster when not encumbered. Okay, I wonder by how much. I really wonder by how much. Super curious about this one. Strong back, 4-1. Interested in this one. Rank 1 now costs 2 perk points. So we didn't quite get the 1 perk point cost there, but 2 is fair enough. Gain more carry weight based on your strength. Okay, this is super interesting. Super interesting. I think I might have to make a video on like all of the new perk cards and what they actually do. Tenderizer ranks reduced from 3 to 1. It costs 2 points. Each attack makes your target take 0.1% increased damage. Ooh! Each player using Tenderizer contributes to a stacking effect that does not expire and caps out at 100% increased damage. This does not work in PvP. This is a very nice change, and I will tell you exactly why. Currently, think raids, for example, unless you have a very specific build. Even the bosses, if you don't have a very specific build, they are, simply put, meat bags. They are bullet sponges. They take so many bullets if you don't have like some crazy build out there. Or the auto axe, basically. Now you will continue to deal more and more damage up until you deal 100% increased damage. So instead of the previous, what was it, 15% extra damage, or was it 10%? It might have been 10%. Either way, this is so much better. Assuming, the damage applies properly, right? It'll be faster to take tougher enemies out, is what this means. And I think that's a really good change. Traveling Pharmacy, reduced ranks from 3 to 1 and 90%. Love to see this. This is very useful, especially if you have a lot of chems on you. I have that, so I am using Traveling Pharmacy. This means I can save 1 point in strength. Beautiful. And here is the killer for solo raids. Fixed an issue in the Gleaming Depths where the mole miners wouldn't attack the drill if left alone. Now you can only solo the first room if that is the case, because there is no way, unless you clear the enemies. I mean, I've done a few solo raids, and this is by far the worst room. And now when they're doing this, I am very, very hesitant to say that it's even possible to solo anymore. So anyone who was doing like full solo runs, rest in peace, bro. Known issues: bulk scrapping legendary mods. For now, please scrap your legendary mods one at a time and not in bulk. Some issues with legendary perk behavior with the ghouls as well. Yeah, okay. But since everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people have probably saved up some legendary mods, make sure you scrap them one by one. And that seems to be it for this patch. That's a massive patch that we got. A lot of interesting changes here. Ghoulification, where you can become a ghoul, changes to, well, especially pistols, but some shotguns, potentially even some rifles. The Onslaught change, Furious turning into Onslaught, and then different perk cards becoming Onslaught instead, making a lot of different builds, presumably much more viable now in comparison to before. Even stuff like sniper rifles and slow shooting weapons, maybe even slow shooting explosive weapons, would gain a significant damage increase with this. I guess the only thing with this one, which does enable you to shoot slow firing weapons and such, you can't really mix like an automatic weapon and a slow firing weapon. Well, you still could in theory, but you're not going to get the extra 10 max stacks, right? Because you would have to skip out on this one. So that's a lot of assumptions from my side in this entire video. Just figured I would go through it all, share my thoughts. I will say I am very positive towards this update. I think there's a lot of super interesting stuff that I would like to try out. And yeah, that's all from me. Enjoy this update, and I might catch you in the wasteland.